Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day to start things off, and I mean really grain of salt time. I'll go through it, you'll understand exactly what's going on. I won't even have to really explain it. A proclamation from a self-described Bitcoin time traveler is going viral. Back in 2013, a Redditor named Luca Magnota posted a thread claiming he was sending a message from the year 2025, describing a dystopian future where governments have collapsed and tribal warfare runs rampant due to Bitcoin's emergence as the only asset with stable value. The post includes a broad overview of Bitcoin's price movements from 2010 up until 2021, with Bitcoin's average price ranging from $10,000. It actually has it right here. It's a bit more descriptive right here. What he said, and I do quote, he said, on average, every year so far, the value of Bitcoin has increased by a factor of 10, from 10 cents in 2010 to $1 in 2011 to $10 in 2012 to $100 in 2013. From now on, there's a slight slowdown as the value increased by a factor of 10 every 2 years to $1,000 in 2015, $10,000 in 2017, and he says $100,000 in 2019, up to $1 million in 2021. The thread is now resurfacing 6 years later after being lauded for its accuracy by Bitcoin analyst Crypto Rand, who says he believes Bitcoin will soon hit $10,000. So, a bit of a backtrack for all of this. I saw this the last 2 days, and I didn't want to ignore it, but I was kind of like, okay, you know, everyone's getting very excited because Bitcoin's price is kind of going back up. But a lot of people are taking this very seriously. We spoke about this in 2018 as well, and a lot of people, when I was live streaming before, or rather when I was live streaming more often, people would ask me what I thought about the Bitcoin time travelers idea. I won't lie, I've entertained it. It's kind of cool, it's very interesting. I think it caught a lot of people off guard because even though this was posted good 6 years ago, his values of where we were going Bitcoin price wise have been accurate, at least up until this point. He got the he got the $1,000, he got the $10,000 in 2017, and we have a lot of people, and this is where it kind of gets very fuzzy, because I know a lot of people who are actually, this is why I say a grain of salt, who are basing a lot of their movements in life off of these predictions. And I fear, not even for the actual predictions that he has, I fear for the what would happen to the cryptocurrency space if this does actually end up happening sometime throughout the course of 2019, that we do have a $100,000 Bitcoin. I think people would completely lose their minds just based off of the fact that what this person had said on Reddit. So for those who have not seen the entire post, I mean, this is probably only part of it. Yeah, I mean, people have been copying, pasting it, and saving it, and putting it on different other websites. What this person says, once again, I can't stress grain of salt enough. He says that as the year around 2023 ends up rolling around, Bitcoin ends up hitting around $10 million. And he says by his time in 2025, no one is really valuing anything in US dollars anymore. People simply value things in Bitcoin and or Satoshi, because at this point in 2025, one Bitcoin is worth around $100 million. He goes on to say, however, that for some reason, or rather, there is a massive amount of inequality in the world. He said the people who kind of run the world, I think he said the Saudi Arabian government, I think it was North Korea, as they had, oh, that's also another weird part that I'll get to. He says North Korea, the International Monetary Fund, I think they have around 70,000 Bitcoin. And I think there's 2 other countries that I can't think of off the top of my head. The weirdest part for me has been thus far, is like I said, I've been into crypto since around 2013, somewhere around that time. When we hit 2015 and we hit 1,000, it was kind of like, okay, well, you know, lucky guess. And then we went past 10,000 in 2017. It was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, yeah, he got it again. But then we had news at the end of 2017 and early 2018 that the North Korean government was actually really heavily into Bitcoin, and that they had been accumulating mass amounts of Bitcoin for a while, and they were stealing other Bitcoin and stuff like that. And it was believed even at that time that they had around $500 million worth of Bitcoin, and that was the beginning of 2018. And then we had news that the North Korean government was actually throwing like a cryptocurrency convention. That's not a joke. You can Google that. I think they've had 2 thus far. So that's the thing I think that caught a lot of people and made a lot of people kind of trip over themselves and say, well, logically before, no one realistically on this planet probably thought that North Korea had any interest in cryptocurrencies. And lo and behold, in his post, I don't think it's somewhere around here, he states that North Korea is actually one of the richest countries in the world because of their accumulation of Bitcoin. And yeah, so he kind of goes on to say what ends up happening is that because of this, grain of salt, because of this huge disparity, the people who own Bitcoin are the richest people in the entire world. He says, if you have 0.01 Bitcoin, you are considered one of the richest people on this planet, because at that point, you have at least what we would consider a US dollar value of $1 million. And therefore, he said with 0.01, you can live off the rest of your life with this amount only. It gets a little fuzzy because he says at some point, what ends up happening is that the richest people on the planet start to fear the people who don't have Bitcoin, and they end up creating things called citadels. And inside of these citadels, for those who have, I mentioned citadels to some of my friends before, and they didn't really understand because English wasn't their first language. It's kind of like a castle, a fortress, like it's something to stop people from getting in. It's the nicest way of kind of saying it. And it pretty much comes down to the fact that rich people, the Bitcoin holders, tend to live or choose to live in these citadels as it is the safest place for them to live. And for those of you who remember, we had news last year that there was actually a the people in Nevada, I can't remember who it was, who bought up a huge expanse of land somewhere in the desert that is going to be changed into what they call a blockchain city. This has been happening several times around the world, and I have a friend, every single time that news like that kind of comes out, or someone's building like a huge mega factory or like a city around something, he just sends me the word citadel, and I kind of laugh, but it's getting kind of weird. Anyway, so the point is, over the last couple of days, this has been really making the rounds. For those who are not looking at the screen, I have a couple of articles up here. This one says, John McAfee says that the Bitcoin time traveler is proof that Bitcoin will hit $1 million, which is part of McAfee's bet that he has with himself, that Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million by next year. And if not, he will do something that he probably should not be doing. But which is really weird because the time traveler says that Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million by 2021, which means that McAfee would lose his bet by a couple of days. The other one says, Bitcoin time traveler has always been right. 100K Bitcoin. Fact or fiction, the Bitcoin time traveler has been right since 2010. Is the Bitcoin time traveler self-proclaimed time traveler goes viral? People claim his Bitcoin predictions are true. I don't know what sparked this revolution of people finding this post once again or really talking about it. I think it could have simply been the rise, or the very recent rise, of Bitcoin's price. A lot of people are calling, because we are very close to 9,000, because we are then going to be extremely close to 10,000, logically. People are saying that they're expecting a $30,000 to $50,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. And a lot of people are saying, no, they think it might be a lot more, because if we have this momentum already, by the time we end up getting, in a couple days, news and information from the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ and Fidelity and all these other places who are now, launching their products, that this could cause a huge frenzy, especially because we also had news before about all the other institutions and companies who are buying up massive amounts of Bitcoin. I also had this in the video yesterday where I was talking about exactly how much Bitcoin there probably isn't out there circulating. We have an enormous amount of news every single day about these companies who are buying up huge amounts of Bitcoin. And I tried mentioning, or tried to give the logic that if these are only the 3-4 companies that we're hearing about, and the world is a relatively large place, one can assume that there are probably at least other 50 companies or trusts or funds who are also buying up cryptocurrencies as well. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, and this is why I said I'm certain people will lose their minds if we actually end up hitting 100,000. Conservatively, I've always felt we're at least going to pass by 20,000. I could definitely see a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 Bitcoin just based off of momentum, the amount of on and off ramps that we have in the cryptocurrency space, the amount of people who we know are getting into the cryptocurrency space. If we got to $20,000 just from us, and maybe a couple of institutions who are also, dabbling or whatever, we now have confirmation that these mega entities are also getting into the cryptocurrency space. Yeah, it's kind of a weird, if nothing else, crypto is incredibly entertaining. I think a lot of people may be disappointed by the end of this year if we don't hit a $100,000 Bitcoin. A lot of people think that it is in play. I mean, I myself would not care for a world where anyone holding crypto has to live inside of a fortress, afraid of people living outside of it. Yeah, he also goes on to say that I think like a couple of like dominant people who we see on television, they kind of get taken out because people know that they hold 400,000 Bitcoin and a whole bunch of, I mean, it gets kind of weird. I guess the weirdest part, at least until this point, is that he has been fairly accurate or very accurate with his numbers. Anyway, like I said, this has been floating around a lot. I only have 5 tabs up here. I saw at least a good 18 other websites that I could count talking about it because, like I said, crypto is just a very interesting place, and I think predictions of any kind always get a lot of attention. But if Bitcoin does end up hitting $100,000 by this year or the end of this year, we will definitely have a discussion as to what is going to happen next. Yeah, let's move on. Next up, a South Korean pan-governmental meeting has reportedly been held to establish closer monitoring of the country's cryptocurrency market amid the recent sharp uptick in crypto valuations. This was reported by local broadcasting station KBS World Radio on the 28th of May. The meeting, led by the Minister of the Office of Government Policy Coordination, No Hyung-uk, was largely promoted by Bitcoin's recent break above 10 million won, or $8,400, the report states. The coin last hit a similar valuation around a year ago, with local officials ostensibly what's happening? Why can't I read that? Ostensibly interpreting the fresh surge as a sign of possible overheating the market. Okay. Meeting participants reportedly included officials from the Ministry of Economy and Finance, the Justice Ministry, and the country's financial regulator, the Financial Services Commission, or the FSC. Areas of focus including a plan to closely surveil domestic crypto exchanges and to intervene in a bid to minimize ramifications for investors should the market continue to pump. Other plans include a pledge to take robust action against any detected fraud by maintaining close coordination between law enforcement authorities and the FSC. So we have yet another country who has come forward because, and it's just, I don't understand why these things happen. The South Korean government announced in 2017 that they were going to clamp down tons of crypto regulation. We can't have this anymore. Fraud, AML, KYC, we're not getting our money, blah, 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 yada, 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 that whole story. They said they were going to give crypto regulations during the course of 2018. I believe they're one of the countries who still has yet to give any solid foundation of any type of regulation, once again, because they didn't care about cryptocurrencies. They thought cryptocurrencies were going to die. And they saw as the prices were going down in the cryptocurrency market that they didn't have to regulate anything. Why would we regulate a dying market? Clearly, our fiat currencies are so much stronger that we don't have to regulate Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. And now that prices have gone back up on the country, this is not the only country that's doing this. You may have, especially the last 2 weeks or so, you remember all the news that at least 4 or 5 other countries have come forward and they're like, yeah, now we're going to give regulations because they see the prices are going back up. And they know, and I'm sure they know, based on the metrics that other people are probably telling them as well, if we do end up hitting, realistically, a $22,000 to a $30,000 Bitcoin, we're going to have people in the market, do as you wish, who are going to be selling off their Bitcoin, fractions of their Bitcoin, to try and get some money, buy a house, buy a car, buy yada, 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 whatever the case might be. The governments want to know who's selling this so that they can get a portion of that money as well. They don't actually, I have always felt that governments don't actually care at all. They're just more concerned with this money that's flowing around that they have no control over. And the only way that they can really kind of get a grasp on exactly what's taking place is the fact that they're desperately trying to control every single cryptocurrency exchange and every single ICO and STO and now also IEOs. That is exchange offering. I think Binance is doing some of them. This is the only way that they can try to kind of figure this out. And this is why we talk a lot about being able to hold your own cryptocurrencies, having your own crypto on you, buying a Nano, whatever the case might be, because then you then control exactly what's going on. Because through cryptocurrency exchanges, this is where they kind of get a lot of their power from, because they then can still tell you, as if you had a bank account, where you can and cannot send your money, what you can and cannot do with it. So we are seeing a rather large surge in the amount of countries who are randomly, so weird, right, coming forward talking about that now's the time to give regulations. We have to make sure that the public is okay. They don't care about the public. They didn't care about the public before, especially when prices were going down. There was no real talk about investor protection. It was just that, okay, should the prices go back up, then we're going to regulate. So I'm expecting SEC, CFTC not included. That's not even a meanness or a joke. Every other government, or at least a lot of them around the world, are going to start to come forward and say, hey, yeah, we know. Okay, that's cool. All right, now we need to regulate because you guys are making money, and we want to make sure that you're okay. Just kind of the way that it is. We can't really stop it. However, because if you've been into crypto for more than a month, you know we don't have to use exchanges. There are other options. Anyway, let's move forward. Here's a really good one. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, is now buying up 21% of newly minted Bitcoin that is created monthly, suggesting increasing demand from Wall Street. According to a Wednesday tweet from Bitcoin analyst Rhythm, Grayscale bought more than 11,000 Bitcoin in April 2019, with 54,000 Bitcoin being mined per month. The largest cryptocurrency asset manager is buying up around 21% of the Bitcoin monthly supply. That means one company, Grayscale, who we spoke about yesterday and a couple of weeks before, and then about 6 months before that, who have announced that they already own 1% or are controlling 1% of all the Bitcoin in existence. They're buying up 1/5 of all Bitcoin that is created per month. We've had news many other times before that there are other companies who are also buying up Bitcoin. They're also mining Bitcoin. They're also not selling Bitcoin. They're trying to get as much Bitcoin as they possibly want. Grayscale, logically, as they are one company, it's probably not the only company who's buying up large amounts of Bitcoin as it goes into the market. Here's the tweet right there. This proportion represents a significant uptick in institutional Bitcoin accumulation, especially given the current price surge. It appears institutional interest is playing a leading role in the 2019 Bitcoin price gain, whereas the late 2017 bull market was largely due to retail fear of missing out. If Grayscale continues buying up Bitcoin at the current rate every month, then it could own 42% of the Bitcoin monthly supply post-2020 halving. Please pay attention to where all of this is going. There's a lot of money flowing into the cryptocurrency space. Just because you may not be explicitly affected by the buying up that these companies are doing, there are 21%. That is one out of every 5 Bitcoin that's being created, they're buying. Imagine what the Winklevoss twins are doing. Imagine what Gemini, Coinbase, Kraken, yada yada, and those are just the names that we know. Imagine the other trusts and the other funds and the other mutual funds and the other hedge funds and the other pension funds that are happening around the world that are also maybe even just buying 1% of Bitcoin every single month, half of 8% of Bitcoin. This adds up very, very quick. I do not think that there's a lot of Bitcoin floating around out there anymore, and I think by the time we end up getting to a $20,000 Bitcoin, I think it'll become abundantly clear around the world exactly how few of them are actually floating around out there. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. If this doesn't get you going to really understand exactly where this entire space is moving to, especially think of that other company who controls 7% of all the Bitcoin in the world. Do you think they're also just not buying up Bitcoin anymore? Do you think they're like, yeah, we got 7%. Guys, we're good. No more. Everyone stop buying, stop mining, turn off your miners. They're probably also buying up maybe... Grayscale has 1%. The other company has 7%. How much do you think the 7% company is buying up every single month? Next up, Egypt appears to be loosening its restrictions on cryptocurrencies. A source speaking to the Middle East news agency described a proposed bill to ban the creation, trading, or promotion of cryptocurrencies without a license. Previously, Egypt banned all cryptocurrency under Islamic law. Shaki Alam, the current Grand Mufti, I think I said that correctly, of Egypt, issued the ban in early 2018, stating that technology could undermine the legal system via tax evasion, money laundering, and other fraudulent activities. The Grand Mufti was also concerned with crypto's volatility and scams. Yeah, sure. However, as the market has experienced and neighboring countries have begun exploring the technology, the government is softening its stance. The bill, according to the Egypt Independent, would give the board of directors of the Central Bank of Egypt, or the CBE, the right to regulate cryptocurrencies and require multiple potentially expensive licenses to do business. Of course. I mean, come on. This is a bit too much in your face. The report reads, the new law provides legal authority for the electronic authentication of bank transactions, electronic payment orders and transfer orders, as well as the electronic settlement of checks and the issuance of circulation of electronic checks and electronic discount orders, provided that the board of directors of CBE issue rules and procedures regulating all the aforementioned actions. All I read, myself, is that in 2018, they were doing exactly what every other country was doing, talking about they were going to ban cryptocurrencies. And now, for some reason, randomly, they're like, yeah, no, we don't have to ban it. It's totally fine. But make sure that we get our money, tax evasion, money laundering, fraudulent activities. These governments aren't... They know exactly what they're doing, but a lot of them are too late. This is my opinion. This is how I feel and how I have felt for a very long time about the cryptocurrency space. They undermined crypto for such a long amount of time and refused to believe that it was going to go anywhere, despite seeing, like, there were charts that we had a couple of years ago showing the actual adoption rate of Bitcoin. It was insane. This was in 2016, 2017, so I can only imagine what the numbers are actually like right now. Now that they see that other countries are also getting into the game, all of a sudden it's just not banned anymore. It's just not illegal. Maybe, maybe we can just give it a try. It seems a little weird, the excuses, in my opinion, that some people give as far as why things are banned or illegal. It always comes down to the exact same thing, and this is why I always think it's going to be very interesting over the next couple of years, because while they may be paying attention, governments that is, to anti-money laundering, KYC, cryptocurrency exchanges, ICOs, STOs, IEOs, a lot of them, I know they're not prepared for this. They're not prepared for decentralized exchanges, or the fact that a lot of people already are understanding how to hold their cryptocurrencies on their computers, on their tablets, on their phones. That's going to become a very big thing as well, when we don't have to have any reliance at all on cryptocurrency exchanges, or at least centralized cryptocurrency exchanges. It's going to change the world at large. And weirdly enough, if you want to go back to the beginning, that's one of the things that he also predicted. He kind of said that as far as like governments collapsing, it kind of comes down to the fact that no one uses in his time. He says no one uses government money. They only use cryptocurrencies. He said the only wealth in his time, if I'm correct in what the entire post said, he said the only wealth in his time are like property, land, and crypto. People kind of forego every other asset, especially gold and silver, because they realize that the gains are always a lot stronger with cryptocurrencies. And yeah, it comes down to the fact that he says in his time, once again as well, that because no one uses government money, governments don't have a lot of control anymore. They can still make laws, but they don't make financial policies anymore. And it's a very interesting time, because where governments used to follow people before and see exactly where they were putting their money, governments no longer know, and people kind of have this kind of a bit of a free-for-all, doing whatever with what they want with their own money. Yeah, I want to say more, but I'm going to stop myself and let's move on. Next, that's a really weird photo. Former Goldman Sachs executive Brianne Madigan has left her position at crypto wallet provider blockchain.com to join Ripple. I was reading Ripple while I saw the C, and I almost said Cripple Media Outlet. I do apologize. Crypto media outlet The Block reported on the 28th of May. Madigan, a Wall Street veteran with about 14 years of experience at major global investment bank Goldman Sachs, has reportedly left blockchain.com after serving there as head institutional sales and strategy for 14 months, according to a LinkedIn profile. The former Goldman Sachs executive has recently reportedly joined Ripple to lead the global institutional markets team to attract more institutional investment onto crypto space. As she said in the report, Madigan reportedly claimed that she is excited to help drive mass adoption of digital assets and transformation of global payments. Madigan's withdrawal from blockchain.com has followed another recent departure by Wall Street trading veteran Jamie Selway, who's reportedly left the company in January 2019 after joining the firm as global head of institutional markets in summer 2018. The people from Ripple have been absorbing a large number of very rich people, very influential people, people who have a lot of sway in the traditional financial world. Kind of interesting to see exactly where this is going. For those of you, I mentioned this before, this was weeks ago, who've never looked at the board of directors for Ripple. Some of the people they have are just very influential people. I know a lot of people don't like Ben Lawsky, but he was one of the, he made laws in New York City. Like, they have very interesting people on their side, people who've been in the White House. This is the guy who owns that bank, SBI, in Japan, who is like obsessed with Ripple and XRP. He's also one of their board of directors. They have very powerful people, and this is just their board of directors. Like, if you look at the actual like other people who are also on their team, they have a lot of people from the SEC. I'm sure maybe one or two from the CFTC as well. Anyway, kind of insane, their acquisitions. Let's hope that it leads to something good as time goes on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, SC Verzely Fine Art, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Shaolin Fried Rice, Gilboa Snake, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Crip, Nodic, Clara T. Snowden, Crypto Artist Coldy 3D, Nicholas One Earth One Piece One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich the Third, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Jeremy, the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Manjalavori, Anthony Charles, and Mechanic. Thank you all very much for your support. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day. Mark is doing pretty okay. Bitcoin looks like it's trying to go back up. A lot of the other coins, I was actually surprised when I woke up this morning. It's dipped down a tiny little bit. There we go. Now it's back. Yeah. XRP was at 46 cents and it just hit 46 cents again. A lot of people are saying that we may end up hitting or relatively soon a 50-cent XRP, which would be kind of nice. I feel like it's about time. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. Hope you all enjoyed. And yeah, I will definitely talk to you all soon. See you.